Pelé in the Brazilian national team. Welcome to the channel, stay with us and enjoy this magnificent video. Pelé, widely considered one of the greatest football players of all time, had an illustrious career representing the Brazilian national team. From his debut in 1957 until his final appearance in 1971, Pelé's impact on the national team was profound. He played a vital role in Brazil's triumphs, including winning 3 World Cup titles in 1958, 1962 and 1970. Pelé's skill, goal-scoring ability and leadership made him a key figure in the history of Brazilian football. His contributions to the national team elevated the status of Brazilian football on the global stage and solidified his legacy as an iconic player. Subscribe to the channel and click the bell to receive more videos about our King Pelé. After making his debut for the Brazilian national team in 1957, Pelé continued to be regularly called up to represent the country. His participation in the 1958 World Cup in Sweden was a milestone in his career. At just 17 years old, Pelé became the youngest player to compete in the World Cup. During the tournament, Pelé performed exceptionally well. He scored 6 goals in 4 games, including a hat-trick against France in the quarter-finals. In the semi-final game against the French team, Pelé suffered a knee injury that prevented him from playing in the final against Sweden. However, his contribution to the Brazilian team was fundamental for Brazil to win its first world title. After the World Cup, Pelé continued to represent Brazil in international competitions. He participated in the 1962, 1966, and 1970 World Cups, although he faced injuries in some of these editions that limited his participation. In 1970, at the World Cup held in Mexico, Pelé had a brilliant performance and helped the Brazilian team win their 3rd World Championship. Throughout his career with the Brazilian national team, Pelé scored a total of 77 goals in 92 official games, becoming the team's top scorer in history. He also won several titles, including 3 World Cups, 1958, 1962 and 1970, and 2 Roca Cups, 1957 and 1963. Pelé is widely considered one of the greatest football players of all time, and his contribution to the Brazilian national team was instrumental in elevating the status of Brazilian football on the international stage. His technical ability, vision of the game and ability to score goals made him a world football legend. Stay with us, leave your like. After standing out playing for the Vasco Santos combination in the Morumbi International Tournament, Pelé was called up by coach Silvio Perillo to compete in the Copa Roca, currently the Superclásico of the Americas, a tournament held between the Brazilian team and the Argentine team in 2 games. At that time, with major Brazilian clubs traveling abroad, the Brazilian coach was facing difficulties in putting together the national team. Therefore, Perillo chose to call up the majority of São Paulo football players, including Pelé. Pelé's debut for the national team took place in the first game of the match, on July 7, 1957, at Maracana. He came on in the second half, wearing the number 13 shirt, replacing Del Vecchio. In that match, Pelé scored his first goal for Brazil at the age of 16 years and 9 months, becoming the youngest player to achieve this feat. The moment of the goal was recorded in a photo considered historic. The Argentine goalkeeper of the match, Amadeo Carrizo, upon seeing the photo, said, "Now that I see the photo and realize what this little boy meant to world football, I am amazed." This was Pelé. Despite Pelé's goal, Brazil lost the match 2-1. In the second game, Pelé started as a starter wearing the number 8 shirt and again scored a goal. Brazil won 2-0 and were declared champions of the Copa Roca. This was Pelé's first international title and his first title with the Brazilian team. His performance was praised by the sports press, with the newspaper Estado de S. Paulo electing him as the best on the field and stating that the Santos striker is destined to be a notable footballer. Jornal dos Sports highlighted Pelé as one of the highlights of the Brazilian team, and its columnist, Mario Rodrigues, stated that Pelé was a sure candidate for the World Cup. After the Copa Roca, Pelé played for more games for the Brazilian team before the 1958 World Cup, being a starter in 3 of them and a substitute in 1. His participation in that year's World Cup was remarkable, with 6 goals in 4 games, helping Brazil win its first world title. Throughout his national team career, Pelé continued to represent Brazil in various competitions, including the 1962, 1966, and 1970 World Cups, where he won 2 more world titles. He became the greatest scorer in the history of the Brazilian national team, scoring 77 goals in 92 official games. Leave a comment if you like it. If you knew these details, share it with us. 1958 World Cup. Pelé's performance at the World Cup held in Sweden was remarkable. Despite being just 17 years old, he played a crucial role in Brazil's success. Pelé scored 6 goals in the tournament, including a hat-trick against France in the quarter-finals. Unfortunately, he suffered an injury in the semi-final against France, which prevented him from playing in the final. Even so, his contributions helped Brazil win their first World Cup title. 1962 World Cup. At the World Cup held in Chile, Pelé faced a challenging situation due to an injury suffered in Brazil's second match. He missed the remainder of the tournament, but cheered on his teammates from the sidelines. Despite their absence, Brazil managed to secure their second World Cup title. 1966 World Cup. Pelé had a frustrating tournament in England. Brazil were eliminated in the group stage, and Pelé faced harsh treatment from opposing defenders, resulting in injuries that affected his performance. Brazil's early elimination was a disappointment, but it set the stage for Pelé's triumphant return at the next World Cup. 1970 World Cup. The World Cup held in Mexico marked Pelé's last appearance on the international stage. It was a tournament of redemption and glory for both Pelé and the Brazilian team. Pelé's skills and leadership were fundamental to Brazil's success. He formed an exceptional partnership with players like Jairzinho, Rivellino, and Tostão, showcasing a magical style of play that led Brazil to their third World Cup title. Pelé's performances in this tournament are widely regarded as some of the best of his career. Throughout his international career, Pelé's contributions to the Brazilian national team were immense. He brought creativity, skill, and a winning mentality to the field. Pelé's ability to score goals, create opportunities, and inspire his teammates made him an indispensable asset to the Brazilian national team. His success with the national team solidified his status as one of the greatest football players of all time. Pelé, the undisputed king of football, left an indelible mark on the Brazilian national team and the sport as a whole. With his mesmerizing skills, inspiring goals, and unparalleled passion, he redefined what it meant to be a footballer. Pelé's journey with the Seleção was triumphant, showcasing his innate talent and unwavering determination. From his historic debut to his triumphant World Cup victories, Pelé's presence on the field was simply majestic. He united a nation, inspired generations, and brought joy to millions of people with his art and grace. Pelé's legacy as a football icon will shine forever, reminding us that true greatness transcends the boundaries of the game. Long live the King! If you agree, type "Long live King Pelé." And so I say goodbye, and I'll wait for you in the next video, and thank you very much.